Hello and good morning, afternoon or evening. The current time is whatever it says on your clocks and the date, whatever it says on your calendar. I'm Sam reporting to you previously recorded from my living room, and you are about to be creeped out. This is a segment where I talk about my favorite short horror films in the form of fake news stories. The first story tonight, a murder at the Larry's Area and Transportation Center in Glendale, California. A young woman who was just trying to enjoy an apple became the victim of a very peculiar incident some lonely evening ago. A blonde woman wearing a striped shirt, black beret, and sick juggalo makeup was seen harassing the young woman as she was just trying to catch a ride home. There seemed to be some discourse between the two for a moment before the mime pretended to make a collect call to the nearest payphone. It actually rang. Reports do say that a phone call was made to this exact phone at this exact timestamp. The young commuter answered, and after some back and forth, thanked her for her neat trick and bid her adieu. The mime goes like this, and looks even cooler now. After the commuter gets away, the mime seems to pop up out of seemingly nowhere, beginning to copy her movements, from a little wave to a little walk away. Moving down a bench, she goes for a little midnight snacky from her bag until she looks up and realizes that the mime now sits in the bench directly across the train tracks from her. She's holding her same position, and the woman soon realizes that she can no longer move her arm or her apple. The mime signals for the young woman to seal her lips, lock the key, and throw it away, and promptly stands up, beginning to march in place. The young woman is not so lucky, as she is not marching in place. She is marching towards the train tracks. And she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, folks. The train blares in the distance as it curves the corner towards the tracks the young woman is now walking towards. Tragedy ensues, and we soon find out that the mime just wanted the apple the entire time. Luckily, the apple was unscathed and conveniently rolls up to the front of the mime's feet, where she picks it up, barely brushes it off, and continues on her way, munching on the apple. Now we take it to Sam for her opinion. Sam? Yeah, thank you, Sam. This film was great. It's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds long, but it's just so much fun. I love that they have such a simple environment and you don't really see a whole lot of it, but how they use it is amazing. And the framing of everything, come on, bro. The framing of everything, they're definitely using the golden ratio, and I think that's amazing. Like, it definitely pays off. It's just beautiful. Makes for a beautiful film. There's not crazy lighting, not crazy costumes. Even the mime makeup is relatively simple, straightforward. I like the mime a lot. I think she's funky and she's a lot of fun. I also appreciate the piano notes when the mime smiles every time. It just kind of gives it that horror factor that you need. I love the orchestral music. They use it when they need it. It's not overdone, but it's done well when they do use it. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of here is how when they're miming the movements, they could be more in sync. The rest of it was done so well that really throws it off for me, especially the first little wave that she gives. The regular actress gives this little limp wrist situation, and the mime is very like this. And I just wish that they could have been in sync a little bit more. So that being said, out of 5 mimes, between 1 and 5 mimes, I'm gonna give this a 4. Thank you so much. Back to you, Sam. Next up, a woman stranded on a curved surface in the middle of roaring waters struggles to keep herself from plunging into the abyss below. Banged up, bruised, bloodied, and in a position that makes me want to vomit, she takes in her surroundings. It's hard to say what landed this young woman in this specific scenario, but what we can say is that this skater girl is about to see you later, girl. Later, it's reported that there was a siren-like, ear-piercing shriek emanating from the blackness below. The young woman hears this and for some reason attempts to roll over on her belly to try to get up the curve. This seems like a weird move. Why wouldn't you just push yourself up on your back? Needless to say, she slips and sinks deeper into the position that makes my knee throb and genuinely makes my stomach hurt. It truly makes me feel sick thinking about my leg being stuck like that. Arriving at the conclusion she can't get a good grip because her fingers are glued together with blood. She develops an effective strategy of deep breathing and wiping her grubby little mitts on her jacket. The more she struggles to push herself up and slightly slips, she notices stains of a similar fate on the curve directly across from her. Each time the protagonist slips a little more, the stains across from her seem to multiply on their own. Weather reports say that it began to rain, causing the slope to become slippery. Luckily, the woman was conveniently wearing a loose chain that she is able to rip off, wrap around her hand, and use as a little grippy sock to help give her some traction to move back up the slope. The victim's fate is unknown. We take this to Sam for her opinion. Sam? My tummy hurts. I'm definitely not a gory body horror person, and for this being so subtly disgusting, there's something to appreciate about that. This girl's hands look insane. They have a nice little close-up, and her little ring finger's all black and bloodied and like missing half of her finger, and it's gross. It's so gross, and it makes my hands hurt. Her hands are super scraped up. They're covered in blood. This girl has a lot of blood all over her. Even one of her shoes is like soaked in blood. And I was wondering how she got so much blood. Obviously, it's like weird how she got in this scenario anyways, but I was wondering how she got so much blood and how there's not like blood streaks behind, like from behind her. She has like a random bruised bump on her head, and it just seems odd. Like, how did she get that? Most of the pain seems to be on her hands or her leg, and anyways, there's a little bit of continuity issue there, but overall, it's so well done. You don't have any environment to work with. All you have to work with is one area. All you have to work with is the actress. So keeping her subtly dressed, and the color editing of this is gorgeous. Usually I like bright, vibrant colors, and this is the exact opposite of that. It's got gray overtones to it. The actress is kind of washed out. It's just a cement background. Her clothes are gray. The lighting is gray. The clouds are dark and dreary. And it's just overall beautiful. And for her to be just covered, even the blood on her hands isn't overtly bright. It's dark and kind of blends in with everything. But there's something beautiful about it. So the main injury here was her hands, and she was using them to like push herself up, right? So they're getting more scraped each time she's trying to push up. So it shows her hand covered in blood already, and she's trying to wipe it off, and she's wincing when she's wiping off her hands, which just adds to the feeling of my hands hurt, right? The sound effect that they use when her hand gets put back onto the cement is so visceral. That's another thing that adds to the like grossness feeling of the film. And later on there's a little blip about the director, like his two main inspirations for the film. One of them was having a conversation with a depressed friend, and the other part was being hit by a car. And he specifically notes his memory of his hands on the wet tarmac, which makes me appreciate the attention to detail there just a little bit more, and makes it a little bit more real. Overall, out of 1 to 5 curves, actually I'm going to give this 5 curves because it has even less environment than the Mime did. You're not moving really at all, and it's all in the acting, it's all in the costuming, it's all in the lighting, and it's done so well. It's 15 minutes long, and it's that good. I highly recommend watching it. Thank you. Back to you, Sam. Our last story of the evening, a not-so-jolly Christmas tale. A wrapped gift, unbeknownst to be no gift at all, was delivered to a young couple by a man named Sean. Sean had seemingly known the couple, Ben and Rachel, for years. It's alluded that Sean and Rachel had had some sort of history that ended in bad blood. Sean told trusted sources that he was under the impression Rachel was not at home and Ben was alone. Ben was instructed to open the box, and after he did so, Sean promptly disappeared. Sean was last seen wearing a white t-shirt and an olive jacket with brown hair and light stubble. However, the insides were painted with a color known as Vanta Black, and not even a flashlight from my childhood could shine into the depths of its void. and it acted like Mary Poppins' bag. The magician's hat, Sean's box, came with a strict set of rules. It wants you to open it. The young couple was instructed to not take their eyes off of it, because that's exactly what it wanted. Having opened the box and averted their gaze to read the rules, they turned back and noticed that a man's wet head is now peeking out of the box. Phone reports show that Sean had 2 missed calls from Ben shortly after he was seen leaving the premises. Footage and audio gathered from indoor security had caught the man in the box parroting an earlier conversation between Ben and Rachel in their exact voices. It also repeated the apology Sean delivered before he left. After the box tells the couple that it does not want Ben to leave the house, and that's exactly what it wants, Ben leaves the house. Transcribed phone reports show that Ben had finally gotten a hold of Sean, and Sean realizes that Ben was not alone. Sean urges Ben not to return back to the house after hearing that he had left Rachel alone with the box. Police reports show that by the time Ben returned to the home, the power had been cut. All of the faucets were on, and all of the light switches had been ripped out of the walls. Evidence leads police to believe that the man in the box had gone into the basement shower and waited for Ben to arrive. It appears Ben inevitably tried to escape, but was stopped by more people, concluded from the multiple soggy footprints found on the carpeted stairs. Now, for the last time this evening, we take it to Sam for her opinion. Sam? Hi, yeah, thank you, Sam. This has got to be one of my favorite short horror films. It's goofy, it's creepy, and it's higher production quality, even though the acting isn't 100% there. For as small as a part as the Sean character had, he was my favorite. His acting was so good.
Oh, great. Look, I just want to give you this.
The 2 main characters were okay. The one thing that kind of lost it for me is Ben's lips don't move. He's just kind of like this the whole time. Like he got his lips done, so they're freshly pumped up and he can't really move them. So some of his lines kind of lost it for me. The acting wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best at all. The other thing that lost it for me was when they were doing the shot from inside the box. I love that idea, love that frame, but it's off. And I think they definitely kept the shape of the edge of the box, which I appreciate, but then they just kind of like set the film inside of it. You can tell it's not actually recording, so it's just the angles are off or something's off, and it is off-putting to view. You can tell it looks extra fake, but it brings itself back, right? It's super creepy. I love the mystery behind everything. Like, why is this box guy wet? Why is there a box guy anyways? What is his universe? It's kind of like a portal to another universe where they require water, which does add to the creepiness later. I love that they brought in all the faucets being on, almost like when the guy like came out of the box, he needed water as soon as he could, so he's just like getting water from all the faucets as he makes his way downstairs to the shower. So cool. I love the frame of the people standing at the top of the stairs, illuminated from the back, creating a silhouette. It's so silent. It's just, you never see the guy's creepy face. The actor they got to play the box guy, he just has like tired eyes, and it makes him daunting, and all you ever see of him is this part and this part. That's all you see, and it makes him look so creepy. There's a couple jump scares in here. I think maybe like 1 or 2, and when you think there's gonna be a jump scare, they just don't. I like that they are not relying on a bunch of these things. They just have a creepy character and they're running with it. The idea of him being out in the house is creepy enough as it is. And it's not common in American culture for shows and films to end with an unhappy ending or end unconcluded. But this does. Maybe more short films do than others. But I love that aspect of this. I like that you're able to kind of finish the story on your own a little bit. It's really cool. Originally, I scored this out from a scale of 1 to 5. I originally scored this 4.5 boxes, but now I'm recapping it. I gotta go lower, honestly. I love the story, love the plot, love the character. But the acting and the beginning story like, between the couple, kind of loses it for me.
I have to deal with a disappointing 2 inches enough as it is.
I mean, all 2 inches of me anyway.
Oh, God.
Want to hear 3?
You're getting me wet.
That's what I want to hear.
No, Jesus.
3.5 out of 5 boxes for me. Thank you so much. I'm Sam, signing off, and these have been my opinions. Back to you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Well, that's all, folks. If you like these stories, you can get more of them in their short film forms below. Remember to stay safe out there, and I hope you were sufficiently creeped out. I'm Sam. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night.